Hey there, Michelle. How's it going?
Good, Lindsay. How are you?
Good. Michelle, is there anything in your life that you feel is very repetitive? Anything specific?
Oh man. Yeah, I would say the getting my kids ready for school in the
Mm.
morning is very
Mm.
repetitive and the I need to make a change. I think I need to go to sleep earlier and then I need to
Oh.
wake. Some people they wake up before their kids. They have an hour before their kids
Oh
wake
my
up and
gosh, who
for
does that?
me, for yeah, really. For me, I wake up and I'm immediately thrown into the lion's
I can't imagine. I can't.
and it's just like immediately like heart racing. We gotta go. We gotta,
That's
everybody,
so
everything's
intense.
going crazy. So I would say that's kind of a repetitive feeling, and I think I need to do something about it so that I don't
Yeah.
wake up with such an intense
No, that's
situation.
legitimate. I think a lot of our listeners will identify with you who have
Yeah,
kids, right?
yeah.
Wow. Okay. I can say
So,
nothing to that because that's very intense. And yeah, especially maybe it's the stress that's a little repetitive for you too, right?
yeah.
Like the stress is repetitive. Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
definitely. What about you, Lindsay? What's is
I
something repetitive?
well, now it seems like a breeze, right? It feels like a breeze compared to that. But
No.
whenever we go skiing, the traffic is very repetitive. I never
Yeah.
thought that I would face skiing traffic because I grew up in New Hampshire. We drove
Mhm.
back roads to the mountains. But now that I live in Colorado, we have to
Everybody's
get
going
up at
skiing.
5:30 in the morning on
Ooh.
Saturdays. And then you start up the hill on I-70, and all of a sudden, here we go again, right? Traffic, 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 traffic. It just
Traffic.
doesn't
No,
mix.
traffic is, I mean, yeah, traffic is that is stressful. I mean,
Yeah.
it's annoying.
Yeah.
So today we're gonna answer a listener question. This is from Masami one asked this on YouTube.
Exactly. I'll go ahead and read the question.
Okay.
Guys, don't forget that YouTube is a great place to consume this show. If you want to watch us doing these recordings on video, you can see our
Yes.
gestures, our smiles, our expressions. So if you prefer, go on over to YouTube and hit the
Yes.
subscribe button right there. Here's Masami's question. Hey, All Ears English family, I love you so much. Well, thank
Oh,
you, Masami.
we
We
love
love
you
you too.
too.
I have a question for you. Would you please explain the situations where here we go again is
Oh.
used? I've noticed it has various meanings depending on the intonation, facial expressions, and
Mm.
tone of voice. Thank you so much. Ooh, yeah.
Ah, this is
Wow.
another good one. Gosh, we've had
That's a
such
good
good
question.
listener questions
Yes.
lately. It's just
Fantastic. Yes.
yeah, I get so excited when I get to plan one of these. They're so much fun.
Oh, so good.
So guys, before we get into it, make sure that you hit the follow button wherever you are listening to All Ears English. We don't want you to miss anything. Sometimes we have bonus episodes coming out.
Yes.
Just make it easy so that you don't miss any episodes. Let us bring them to you.
Yes, exactly. Hit the follow button right there. So, Michelle, would you say that you use this expression in any way? Here we go again.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
I would say so. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, the example I just used about ski
Yeah.
traffic for sure. Oh, we turn the
Yeah.
corner, look up the hill, and there's a huge parking lot in front of us, right? Of cars. Here we go again,
I
right?
always like that when when people say parking lot about a lot of traffic.
It's funny. Yeah.
I
It's
always
just so
like that. I
funny.
remember when I used to work at a radio station, they would do the traffic reports. And I
Yes.
remember this one announcer would always say he would shout out, the highway name and he would say da 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 parking lot,
Parking
da
lot.
da da parking lot.
Yeah, that is kind of fun. I agree. I like that. It's kind of cool sounding.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Oh, another thing that I just thought of that could be really repetitive is really bad airport infrastructure,
ah,
like bad security lines, slow security,
here we go
delays, and that
again.
kind of
Yep.
thing. Specifically at certain airports right now in the US are really, really
Yes.
bad. Did you fly into Newark Airport when you Oh no, no, you didn't. Okay, you were just did you drive down to Maryland this
Yeah,
past
yeah,
weekend?
yeah.
Okay, 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 okay.
No, yeah, I know, but, I know Newark is crazy right now, so
Yes.
I'm glad
Yes.
I don't have any flights coming up from there, so,
Yes.
but yeah, so here we go again. It means something is about to happen that is or is starting to happen that is repetitive or predictable,
Mhm.
and it could be used more in a sarcastic way, but it could also be more genuine, but I think it's a little less likely. To me, this is more, here we go again, a little bit with an
Yeah.
attitude.
Exactly. Something is winding up, something you're expecting to see because you've seen it before.
Yeah.
It's a little negative, right? For sure. I think most
Mhm.
of the time. Let's give our listeners more examples, more context.
Okay, so let's see. So, one context could be two people in an argument and one uses a talking point they always bring up. And
Yeah.
the other one might give a little bit of an eye roll and say, "Here we go again. That's what you always say."
Yeah, and this tends to happen with couples, right? They have their
Mhm.
style, their attachment styles are different in what they learned in their family
Mhm.
as children, how to fight kind of with their
Mhm.
partner. They learn certain things and then they bring back
Mhm.
old stories and old things that come up for sure.
Right, here
Yeah.
we go again. You've been
Mhm.
using that excuse since we were kids, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's an example of a positive one. Two friends are excited to take their annual trip to the Bahamas together. Nice. And they're about to get on the plane. So this one would be a positive exception here. Here
Yeah.
we go again. It's going to be so much fun. So there
Mhm.
are examples where you could see this in a positive way, right?
Mhm. Yeah, and there are, but again, I would say this is a
Yeah.
little less likely. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I agree. I think probably 90% of the time you're going to hear this in a way of someone saying, "Oh, something bad's happening. It's happened before. I know what to expect."
Yeah. Right, right,
Mhm.
exactly. So, or here's another way it might be used. So, two coworkers have been having tech issues with the internet at work. They thought
Mhm.
it was fixed, but then they get a pop-up again with the same problem. They might
Mhm.
just say, "Here we go again. Internet's down."
Yeah, I've been having ever since I got a new laptop in
Oh,
January,
yeah,
I've been
I know
having
you've been
issues with I
having.
don't even know why. It's supposed to be an upgrade from my previous laptop, but it's just here we go again. It happens all the time. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and the
yeah.
intonation is
Mhm.
very important here, right? So when you're using it in that sarcastic kind of way, how do you say it?
Here we go again. All right. There's a real emotion in my voice. There's a
Here we go again.
tone. There's a real tone. Like I've seen this before. I know how this ends.
Right, right, right. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep. All right, Michelle. So do you think it's rude to say this? I mean, I personally think you don't want to be the Debbie Downer all the time, right?
Right. Of course not. But I think when it is, that's true. I also do think it can grow connection, right? We know this. We've been through
Mhm.
this together before. Here we go again, right? If you're using it with somebody else, you also might kind of say it to yourself, right? If you're driving that car, even if you're by yourself
Mhm.
and you run into that traffic, you might say, "Oh, here we go again," right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, of course you don't want to be the Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
But sometimes a little bit of that is good for connection.
Yeah, I like what you said there. I mean, in the example where it's you and someone else against someone or against a scenario, right? That could
Mhm.
build connection for sure. Maybe you don't like your boss and you're
Mhm.
very close to your coworker. Maybe your
Mhm.
boss is kind of like a mansplainer or a womansplainer and they talk forever. And then you might whisper to you're in a meeting and they wind up, they start to do the thing that they always do. You might just kind of wink at them and say, "Here we go again," right? Under your breath or something. Be careful there,
Yeah,
but
be
yeah.
careful again.
Yeah,
Be very careful.
be careful.
But yeah, so it is that knowledge of something that is repetitive and being aware of it and seeing if there are opportunities for you to use it in a way that builds that connection.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about some similar ideas, some similar ways we might use this idea. What's the first one, Lindsay?
This one I love too. Buckle up. Buckle up. I always say, I say this, I say, buckle up, buckle in. I don't know why it's like my trademark. I say this sometimes, like,
Do
get
you?
ready. Yeah, it doesn't really make a ton of
Right,
sense, but I just say it.
right,
Buckle up,
right.
buckle in. Here we go. Right.
That's cute.
It's this is saying, get ready for something that might not be easy. This thing coming might be intense, might be hard, might be stressful. Right.
Right,
Or
so
it might
get
be good.
ready.
It might be it's just kind of wild. Like, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. Can't wait for our Oscar watching party.
See, right, so that seemed like it was gonna be something about something bad, but maybe it's just you guys throw these big, parties
Yeah.
and the Oscars, maybe there's, like, a big rivalry or there's a very highly competitive in that certain year. Buckle up, right? Get ready for it.
Yeah, or it reminds me of when I studied abroad or lived in different parts of the world, like in Europe. I was not ready for how late stuff starts in nightlife.
Mm.
I'm sure you maybe too, Michelle. I mean, I think in the US, we're used to just sort of going home at 2 a.m. at the latest in a way.
Yeah.
But people go out at, 12 midnight or 1 a.m. So at the beginning of that night, you might say, come on, buckle up. It's going to be a long night. Right?
That's a great example. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Or this one is also more like this is predictable, right? So right
Mhm.
on schedule, right?
Yeah, yeah, right on schedule. He starts to complain about the weather. So if you have someone that tends to do things at certain times, right?
Mhm,
You're like,
mhm.
I know this guy, I know what he does. This is what he's doing again.
Yep, yep. Or not this again. So it just
Mhm.
we're kind of complaining that we've heard this before, right? We know that this has
Mm.
happened. So not this again. We have to find some way to keep the cable from going out.
Yeah, and this is cool because it shows that you know someone or you know something well, a scenario, and you have an
Mhm.
awareness of whether it's good or bad. So
Mhm.
maybe if someone is new in the office, you use this to signal what's likely to happen, whether it's good or
Mhm.
bad, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So yeah, it's all about that awareness.
Yes.
So should we do a role play?
Yeah, so here we are friends. Are we shoe shopping at a shoe store here?
Yes, we
Okay.
are. Okay, here we go.
All right.
None of these are comfortable.
Here we go again, Michelle. Can't you find something?
I'll try these. Ugh, not this again. They're comfortable in the toes, but the back is too tight.
Oh, Pete is calling. Right on schedule. Probably wants me to do all the shopping for the summer block party.
Oh boy, buckle up. It's that time of year again.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? So here we go again, Michelle. Or what am I saying? What am I
Uh,
saying about you?
You're saying we've been you can infer that we've been shoe shopping together before, right?
Mhm.
Or that we've been shopping together before, and
Yeah.
I am very picky, or this doesn't work. It sounds like I'm very like Goldilocks.
Yes, exactly. You're a hard person to shop with because you're picky. Exactly. And then you say, I'll try these. Ugh, not this again. They're comfortable in the toes, but the back is too tight. So, not this again. This feeling happens all the time when I try to
Right.
find a good pair of shoes.
Right.
Right?
This is very me. I
Yeah.
am very I don't have great feet, and I
Mm.
have a hard time finding comfortable shoes.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
this is inspired by real life
Okay,
situations.
good to know, good to know. And then Pete calls, right? And I
Yeah.
say, "Oh, Pete is calling right on schedule. Probably wants me to do the shopping for the summer block party." And maybe the block party, for example, is like in 3 hours, right? Or
Yeah,
2
yeah,
hours.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's so that
yeah.
we're saying he doesn't leave much time. Uh,
Right, or he's
mhm.
always, "Oh, can you do this?" Like that
Yes.
he doesn't follow through on what
Yes.
his job is, right?
Yes,
Um,
exactly. Mhm.
and then I said, "Oh boy, buckle up. It's that time of year again."
Mhm.
So I'm saying, "Get ready. Oh, we have these parties. Oh, we have to there's
Yes.
a lot we have to do."
And it's gonna be chaotic. It doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be bad. It just means it's going to be maybe intense or
Right.
busy, right? The summertime, all the parties that are coming, right?
Yep, yep,
Interesting.
exactly.
All right. Guys, check out
um,
episode 2430. Study up on this impressive vocabulary. I love that. That would be the
yes.
next one to check out. And Michelle, where should we leave our listeners today?
Oh man, this was such a good question.
Yeah.
I think that this expression is very versatile. It's fun.
Mhm.
It shows that you have this special awareness of a person or a situation.
Yes.
And so it's great for connection. But again, you got to be careful with it if you're using it in a negative way about someone.
Yes.
Really a lot to think about here. Lindsay, anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, I mean, I just love this question. I love this topic because
Yeah.
it's real life. It's showing
Yeah.
you guys how to articulate your thoughts, right? These
Mhm.
are real life human experiences, experiencing something again that maybe didn't go so well. We're
Yeah.
experiencing these things. And I know for our listeners, Michelle, a lot of our listeners want to make sure they can express their true feelings and
Yeah.
thoughts in English. This is an episode to do that. Okay.
Absolutely. All
Good.
right, Lindsay, that was fun. And can't wait to see you on the next episode.
All right. Talk soon,
Here we
Michelle.
go
Take
again. All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.